Imagine waking up one morning and realizing that your life is a complete catastrophe. The only solution you can see is to end the life of the person you love most in this world at their request, and then to take your own, all because you couldn't bear the cost of increasingly expensive subscriptions. Sounds a little surreal, right? Like something you'd see only in a show. Well, you're not wrong, because that's the plot of Black Mirror's episode, ironically titled Common People. And it might sound like science fiction, but unfortunately, it's more like a documentary about life right now. Let me explain. The episode follows Amanda and Mike. She's a teacher and he's a welder. They're in love and they're trying for a baby. They're making it work until one day when Amanda collapses at work. She has an inoperable brain tumor. The doctor tells Mike she'll never wake up, and that's when a company called Rivermind makes Mike an offer. The deal is simple. Rivermind will download the affected part of Amanda's brain to their servers, remove the tumor, and replace it with synthetic tissue. Amanda's consciousness will be stored in the cloud and transmitted back to her brain continuously, so she'll be completely normal. How much will the surgery cost them? Absolutely nothing. It's completely free, except for one tiny subscription fee, just $300 a month. Mike doesn't hesitate. Of course he says yes. What's $300 against the life of the woman he loves? And you're probably thinking that we've already veered into sci-fi territory. But have we? Thanks to Elon Musk, we have Neuralink.
Neuralink, Elon Musk's brain chip company, recently pushed back on claims that it violated animal welfare laws a few years ago while testing on monkeys. This year, the company plans to test on human subjects.
Right now, as you're watching this, Neuralink has FDA approval for human trials. The first human implant happened in January 2024. A man named Noland Arbor, paralyzed from the shoulders down, can now control computers with his mind. It's genuinely incredible technology. In fact, it's life-changing and potentially world-saving.
I had to use like a mouse stick and stuff, but now it's all being done with my brain. If y'all can see the cursor moving around the screen, that's all me, y'all.
Until you ask the one question nobody wants to answer. What's the business model? Because developing brain implants costs billions, and investors aren't interested in winning a Nobel Peace Prize. They care about how much money they can make, about quarterly earnings reports and profit margins. And the episode shows us exactly what happens when life-saving medical technology meets shareholder value. Amanda survives the surgery, and when she wakes up, she's completely normal, like nothing ever happened. But now Mike has to work double shifts, picking up overtime and doing whatever it takes to scrape together that $300 every single month. Things aren't quite as normal as they seem though. Amanda's sleeping more than usual, which means she can't work full-time anymore. So there's less money coming in and they're scraping by, but just barely. They're pretty much one unexpected expense away from everything falling apart. And this is where the episode stops being science fiction and becomes a documentary. Because so many Americans are living in the exact same boat today. Take Shane Patrick Boyle. He was a 48-year-old comic book writer and the founder of Zine Fest Houston. He was a creative guy who was beloved in his community and was doing what he loved. In early 2017, Shane moved from Texas to Arkansas to take care of his dying mother. And when he crossed state lines, he lost his prescription coverage. He had type 1 diabetes, which meant that without insulin, he would die. This isn't like catching a cold or toughing it out. This is your body literally shutting down without the medication. So Shane did what's become completely normal in America. He started a GoFundMe trying to raise $750 for 1 month of insulin. The campaign fell $50 short, just $50. Shane rationed what he had left, stretched it as long as he possibly could while trying to figure something out. On March 18th, 2017, Shane Patrick Boyle died from diabetic ketoacidosis. His mother had sadly died a week before him. The sad part is that insulin costs about $10 to manufacture, and yet it sells for over $300 per vial in the United States. 3 companies control 90% of the global insulin market: Eli Lilly, Novo Nordisk, Sanofi, and they've spent decades lobbying Congress to prevent Medicare from negotiating drug prices. And Shane wasn't alone in this. Alec Rayshawn Smith was only 26 years old when he was found dead in his apartment, also in 2017, rationing insulin after aging out of his parents' insurance.
My son Alec died on June 27th of 2017 from diabetic ketoacidosis, or known as DKA. DKA is a complication of type 1 diabetes.
Antavia Lee Worsham died in April 2017 at only 22, trying to borrow and ration insulin from friends. Jeremy Crawford was 39 when he died in August 2019 after losing his job and his health coverage. All of them rationing a $10 product that costs $300. All of them died because they couldn't afford to stay alive. Back in the episode, Mike and Amanda are about to learn that $300 a month is just the beginning. Their anniversary comes around and they do the same thing they've done every year since they got married. They drive out to the hotel where they had their wedding and spend the weekend there, reliving the best day of their lives. Except this time, something goes horribly wrong. The moment they cross the county line, Amanda suddenly blacks out. She just drops unconscious in the passenger seat. Mike panics, swerves the car around, and races back home as fast as he can. The second they cross back into their home county, Amanda wakes up like nothing happened. They rush straight to Rivermind headquarters, and Mike is furious. He's terrified and wants answers about what just happened to his wife. Their rep, Gaynor, explains it very calmly. The basic service only works in your home network area, so if you want Amanda's consciousness to work across the whole country, that requires the Plus tier. And that's only an extra $500 every month. Mike's confused and angry. That wasn't in the contract we signed. Gaynor smiles, explaining that it's a recent update. Rivermind is evolving to better serve our customers. $800 a month total now, and they can't afford it. Mike's already working every shift he can get, and Amanda's working part-time at best because of the sleeping problems. So they're stuck. They're literally trapped in their county. They can't take their anniversary trip, can't visit family out of state, and pretty much can't leave the geographical prison. And if this sounds like science fiction, it really isn't. It's already been happening for years. For example, HP pushes firmware updates to printers that block third-party ink cartridges, often overnight without warning. When their CEO was asked about it in 2024, he claimed it was because third-party ink could embed viruses and spread through your network. The real reason? HP admitted they get 20% more revenue from customers locked into their subscription service. Then there's Future Home, a Norwegian smart home company. They were acquired in 2025 and suddenly required a $117 annual subscription for devices to work at all. Customers who didn't pay lost their mobile app, their automations, everything except basic manual control of products they'd already bought. Let's not forget the Snoo Smart Sleeper. It sells for $1,695 with features like adjustable rocking and sleep tracking built in for babies, which is to be expected at that price. In July 2024, Happiest Baby, the company behind Smart Sleeper, locked 10 of the 18 features behind a $20 monthly paywall. Parents who bought it secondhand or were using it for a second child suddenly couldn't access features that used to be free. And maybe one of the most infamous is BMW, when they started charging a monthly subscription for heated seats in 2022, even though the hardware was already installed in cars people had paid for. The backlash was so severe, they rolled it back in Europe by September 2023, with an executive admitting people feel that they paid double.
BMW to start selling heated seat subscriptions. This even got a reaction from Vin. What did he say? He said, ugh.
That's a massive reaction.
From him?
Yes.
He did not like this.
It sort of seems like a pattern, doesn't it? HP disables your ink. Future Home breaks your smart home. Snoo locks your bassinet. BMW turns off your heated seats. Rivermind traps Amanda in her county. It's the same playbook applied to different products, selling you something complete, then taking features away and demanding more money to give them back. But Mike and Amanda are about to discover something even worse than being trapped in an expensive subscription. A few months go by and things seem relatively stable. They're barely making it work, but at least Amanda seems okay. Until she starts reading adverts out loud in the middle of conversations and has absolutely no memory of doing it.
That stay together bask in the glow of Christ's heart. For more information on faith-based family counseling, visit christsheart.com.
They're having dinner, talking about their day, and suddenly she's recommending a meal kit delivery service mid-sentence. Then she goes right back to the conversation like nothing happened. At work, it's even worse. She's teaching her class and out of nowhere starts advertising faith-based counseling services to a troubled student, interrupting her lesson to pitch a product she's never heard of. The principal pulls her aside after class. "Amanda, if you keep advertising to students, I'm going to have to let you go." Amanda has no idea what she's talking about. She doesn't remember saying anything about counseling services. They go back to Rivermind to figure out what's happening, and Gaynor explains, still perfectly calm, that advertising now runs on all common tier subscriptions. It's a new feature they added last month. Want the ads removed? Upgrade to Plus tier. That's $800 a month. Mike loses it. "You're forcing ads into my wife's brain without her consent?" Gaynor doesn't even flinch. It's in the updated terms of service. This isn't science fiction either. It's the enshittification of products to force people to upgrade, and it's been happening for years. Apple deliberately slowed down older iPhones with software updates in 2017. When people noticed and complained, Apple called it battery management to preserve aging batteries. Except it wasn't just about battery management. Many believed it was forcing people to buy new phones by making their old ones unusable. There was a class action lawsuit that proved it, and Apple paid out $500 million. But by then, millions of people had already replaced their phones. Samsung's inserting ads directly into smart TVs that people paid over $2,000 for. They're even testing ads on smart refrigerators. The appliance that keeps your food cold now wants to sell you things. You may have paid for these products, sometimes thousands of dollars, but ownership is nothing more than an idea. The companies can change how they work whenever they want, push updates that make them worse, and add features people never asked for. And there's nothing you can do about it except pay more to make it stop. Mike can't afford $800 a month, and Amanda's about to lose her teaching job if these ads don't stop. So Mike feels he has no choice but to sign up for a website called Dumb Dummies, and it's exactly what it sounds like. People humiliate themselves on camera for money. The worse the humiliation, the more you make. Mike starts out masked so nobody recognizes him. He drinks urine for $50. Then he pulls out one of his own teeth with pliers for $100. He's degrading himself for strangers who pay to watch. He makes just enough to upgrade Amanda to Plus tier. The ads stop, she keeps her job, and Mike never tells her how he's paying for it. Now scroll through TikTok for 5 minutes and tell me this is fiction. People will literally eat their vomit for views if they have to. The Milk Crate Challenge sent dozens of people to emergency rooms with broken bones. And the Benadryl Challenge killed multiple teenagers trying to hallucinate on camera. MrBeast is paying someone to stay trapped in a bunker, and we watch it because it's entertaining. But what we all ignore while watching is that these people aren't doing this because they love it. They're doing it because traditional jobs don't pay enough to survive anymore. When your options are degrading yourself online or getting evicted, when teacher salaries don't cover student loans and rent, and when welding jobs don't cover medical bills, people will do what they have to do to survive. That's not their failure. That's the system failing them. Mike keeps going back to Dumb Dummies and keeps degrading himself. He has to keep the money coming in so Amanda can function somewhat normally, until one day Amanda notices something is very wrong. She's sleeping longer and longer. 12 hours, then 14, then 16. She's exhausted all the time and can barely stay awake during the day, even though she's spending most of her life unconscious. They go back to Rivermine and Gaynor says this is totally normal on the Plus tier. Who couldn't use more sleep, right? But Amanda pushes back. She isn't actually getting restful sleep. In fact, she's waking up feeling worse than when she went to bed. That's when Gaynor drops the truth. While Amanda's asleep, Rivermind is using her brain for processing power. They're harvesting her consciousness to run their servers. Her brain is literally being rented out to other customers while she's unconscious. Amanda is horrified. "You're supposed to be helping me, not using me." Gaynor doesn't even blink. What's wrong with giving a little back? Of course, there's another tier that solves this. Rivermind Lux will reduce her sleep time and let her control her emotions through an app. It's just another $1,000 per month, bringing the total to $1,800. Or if that's too expensive, they've got temporary boosters for $30 that last a few hours. You see why people say, if a service is free, you're the product. And they're not wrong. Facebook doesn't charge you because advertisers pay more for your data than you'd ever pay for access. Knowing when you're insecure, lonely, or anxious is a gift from shareholder heaven, one they can exploit till thy kingdom comes. Google knows you searched your symptoms at 2 a.m. Suddenly, every website you visit shows health insurance ads. Google knows you're worried about your health before you tell your doctor. TikTok's algorithm knows exactly what keeps you scrolling. It's not showing you what you want, it's showing you what keeps you there longest. More scrolling means more ads, means more money. But here's what should really scare you. ChatGPT, Claude, and every AI chatbot you've ever used because you talk to them about your problems, your fears, and even your relationship issues. You tell them things you wouldn't tell your own family. Right now, these AI chatbots are offered as subscriptions, but running those servers costs billions, and tech companies have always made their real money the same way, through advertising. So, how long do you think it will be before ChatGPT starts suggesting products mid-conversation? Sounds like you're stressed about work. Have you considered this meditation app? Sponsored, of course, while being targeted to your specific anxieties. The difference is, it knows your deepest vulnerabilities because you trusted it with everything. Coming back to Mike and Amanda, they can't afford $1,800 a month, but Mike does manage to scrape together $30 for a few hours here and there to give Amanda a bit of a break, until his co-workers find his account. Mike decides to unmask himself on Dumb Dummies because you make more money if people can see your face. It's more entertaining if they can watch a real person degrade themselves. He uses the extra cash to buy Amanda 12 hours on Lux Tier as an anniversary gift. For the first time in months, she feels like herself, and they have a perfect day together. On Monday, when Mike goes into work, he finds photos of himself posted all over the break room. They're all screenshots from Dumb Dummies showing him degrading himself. Everyone knows. Mike confronts the guy who posted them, and there's a fight resulting in someone's legs getting crushed under construction equipment. He's immediately fired for workplace violence. See the pattern? The economy forces you to find other ways to survive because salaries don't cover living expenses. You do what you have to do whether you want to or not. Then the system punishes you for surviving. Mike just lost his job. Amanda's about to lose hers because the ads are coming back without Plus Tier. And they're about to learn that losing the subscription isn't even the worst thing that can happen. Mike tells Amanda they still have some money. It's the baby fund they've been building for years, putting away a little every month. They can use it to keep the subscription going until Mike finds another job. Gaynor interrupts. If Amanda gets pregnant, the subscription cost increases. We'd be supporting two consciousnesses. Mike nearly destroys her office, and Amanda realizes they can never have the family they've been dreaming about. They storm out, and as they're leaving, Gaynor pulls out her phone. She opens her own Rivermind Lux app and adjusts the nonchalance setting to maximum. That's why she's been so calm this whole time. She's running a subscription just to cope with her job. Average pregnancy and delivery in the United States costs around $3,000 with insurance. But without insurance, it's anywhere between $14,000 to over $30,000 just to have a baby. Then there's childcare, which costs more than college tuition in 38 states. In Boston, daycare alone runs over $20,000 a year. After 2008, investment firms bought up tens of thousands of homes. Invitation Homes alone owns around 80,000 single-family houses that used to be owned by regular people. They didn't buy them to sell them. They bought them to rent back to you at prices you can barely afford. Food prices keep climbing because 4 companies control most of what Americans eat. Birth rates are falling across every age group. And it's not because people suddenly stopped wanting kids, it's because people are working 50+ hours a week and still qualifying for food stamps. Every dollar goes to rent, groceries, student loans, medical bills, subscriptions. There's nothing left for a future that includes kids. Mike and Amanda sell the baby crib. The couple who buys it doesn't even want it for a baby. They're burning it for a music video. Over the next year, Mike and Amanda's life completely falls apart. Amanda loses weight, gets weak, and is forced back to the common tier. The ads come back, and she loses her teaching job. She's sleeping 16 hours a day while Rivermind harvests her brain. Mike sells everything they own: the couch, the TV, the car, and furniture. All of it goes to keeping Amanda's subscription active. Companies didn't stumble into this business model. They chose it deliberately. In 2012, Adobe made $1.1 billion from one-time purchases of Creative Suite. By 2023, Creative Cloud subscriptions generated $11 billion annually. They killed ownership because subscriptions generate revenue forever. You don't own your music on Spotify, your shows on Netflix, or your games on Xbox Game Pass. Your photos on iCloud, your documents on Google Drive, your software on Microsoft 365. The moment you stop paying, it all disappears. Mike scrapes together the last of their money and buys Amanda 30 minutes on Rivermind Lux for their anniversary. He activates the Lux subscription, and Amanda immediately feels alive again one last time. She's alert and present, basically feeling like herself for the first time in months. She looks at Mike with clear eyes. "It's time," she says quietly. She reaches for the Lux app and dials her Serenity setting all the way up. The 30-minute timer counts down while Amanda is smiling. She's peaceful and content for the first time in over a year. The timer hits 0. Her eyes glaze over and she starts reading an advertisement again, her voice flat and robotic. Mike picks up a pillow and makes the hard choice. He then walks into the next room with a box cutter. Some say he's going to monetize his own death. But what we do know is that Black Mirror is a stack reflection of the future. But the difference between you and Amanda is that they didn't see what was happening until it was too late. Each change seemed small, each price increase seemed justified, and each new tier seemed optional at first. You can see what's going on though, and that changes everything, because people are already fighting back and winning. California capped insulin at $35 after decades of people dying. Right to repair laws are passing, even though companies spent millions trying to stop them. While class action lawsuits are forcing companies to pay for deliberately breaking products to sell upgrades. People are canceling subscriptions for piracy. They're demanding transparency and are refusing to accept that this is just how things work now. The system only works if people keep participating in it. If people keep accepting these changes as inevitable. Shane fell $50 short because he was fighting alone. Amanda lost her life because she was alone. You're not alone. When enough people demand change, companies listen. Not because they suddenly grew a conscience, but because they have to stay in business. Awareness is step 1. You've got that now. Collective action is step 2. And unlike Mike and Amanda, you've still got time to choose a different ending.